Hi, welcome to the John Gaunt podcast. I'm guilty. Well, according to Gary Neville, I'm guilty, of Gaunty, of being white and middle-aged and angry. In fact, I'm more than angry. I'm effing angry. What about you? What do you make of what Gary Neville has said, the ex-England footballer and Manchester United player? Has he wound you up? Because let me tell you, he's really wound me up. I'll take your views. Let's get it straight from the start, though. And I'm going to quote what he said in a minute. Gary Neville says it's angry, middle-aged, this is exactly the quote, white blokes who are causing all the division in Britain. Well, here I am, guilty as charged. But I'm bloody furious about it because it's not people like me and probably you who stabbed to death Jewish people last week. It's not us who were called jihadi as a name. I've just been watching a story on the news on the BBC where I got new footage of him walking to the synagogue in the morning, and they said, and here we see jihadi. He was named deliberately like that, so as to wind us up even after death. It's not us who are tearing the country apart. I'll tell you who it is, because I'm not a coward, I'll say it. It's Islamist fanatics, militant Muslims who are causing the problem. It is. And why are we skirting around the issue? Why are our government skirting around the issue? And where is Starmer? You'd think he'd have made another statement by now. He said nothing. Nout. Zero. He's back in his bunker. So I'm saying it's not white, middle-aged, angry blokes who are causing these problems, because we're the ones who work, we're the ones paying taxes, we're the ones who fill the football stadiums. Gary Neville, we wave our flag, but we're the problem? I don't think so. Yes, British patriots, some of them white, some of them black, some of them Asian, I'm sure, have been putting up flags. What's your problem with the flag, Gary? I know you didn't sing the national anthem at a lot of our international games. Is this tied in with it? Are you so left-wing, you haters and you despisers? Well, I wish you'd told us earlier, because we wouldn't have paid good money to see you and your brother, and we wouldn't have wanted you in the England team. Of course, you're entitled to your opinion, and somebody put a flag up on one of your building sites, and of course it's your property. If you want to take it down, take it down. But why are you making a song and dance about this? Why are you trying to be the new Gary Lineker? You make me sick. And I tell you something, you're a coward. Because by blaming white, angry, middle-aged white blokes, you know you're going to get some stick on here. You know you're going to get some stick in the newspapers. But you also know you're going to get some support amongst the uber-liberal class that you aspire to. You're a working class kid. But I'm going to say something else now, because I'm not a coward either. You're a traitor to the working class. We're the ones who paid for you to elevate yourself to this status. And this is payback, is it? That it's us. Well, I don't recall any white, fat, angry blokes planting bombs. I just don't. I'm almost speechless with what you've come out with. If you want to comment, write a little comment on the bottom of the video, please, in the chat box. Hi, by the way, it's John Gaunt. Hey, but it's not just Gary Neville. It's also the politicians of all parties, obviously apart from Nigel Farage, who have allowed immigration to run away, both legal and illegal. We are like immigrants are us, aren't we? We've got all the undocumented flip-flop warriors coming in at Dover, and we don't even know who they are. We've got them in hostels, we've got them in houses of multiple occupation, and we've got them in hotels with squeezy soap, and they've got hot and cold running benefits of all kinds, including doctors, wigs, and the rest of it, and taxis to go to all their appointments. And then we've got the illegal immigration. Were we ever consulted about the level of it? No. So when you say white, angry people, middle-aged, well, we are, because we've worked hard to have what we've got, and we're seeing now other people getting it by just getting out of a dinghy in their flip-flops. It's a bit annoying. And then, of course, Gary Neville, it's our kids, our grandkids as they come. How are they meant to survive? The very people who would pay your wages when you're playing football. But it's the politicians as well. They've all sneered, just like Gary Neville, down their snooty noses at us, seeing us as the great unwashed. But they just walk away from it. And also, no one has really called out the Muslim community to condemn this. Now, some people have condemned it in that community, but now there's been this attack on a mosque. There's been an arson attack. No one died. No one got injured. It's horrendous, and I condemn it. They're now trying to say, well, why wasn't that treated as terror? Well, maybe it will be when they find out who did it. But there isn't a terrorist threat, is there, from fat, white, pasty blokes at the moment in general, despite what the BBC tell us about the rise of the far right. This is all part of the same agenda of the political, the uber-liberal middle class who hate us. They despise us. And how long is this going to go on for? And also, when we talk about that attack on the mosque, and I'm not condoning it, it's completely wrong. There could have been people in there. However, did you know 126 churches in this country have suffered arson in the last 12 months? I wonder who's doing that. I'm not saying it is, but maybe that's an Islamist fanatic. We've got to call this out for what it is, but we've got a prime minister who just wrings his hands when he's in public. We've got a deputy prime minister who people abused when he last tried to address them, Jewish people. And undoubtedly, there's been two-tier justice between the way Muslims have been treated and Jewish people. And that is wrong. Just saw this interview with this Jewish guy. He was the one who confronted the monster when he came in the synagogue, Jihadi, whatever his name is. And he then phoned the police. And the BBC correspondent just now said to him, did you ever think this would happen in this leafy part of London? And he paused, this old Jewish fella, and he said, well, not necessarily here, but we knew it was going to happen somewhere. How have we got to that situation in 21st century Britain? That's one of my questions tonight. And do we treat the Muslims, all of them, and it's not their fault because the majority are not extremist nutcases, are they? But there's obviously a significant amount who do want to kill us. I've got to call it out. I'm not a coward, unlike Gary Neville. What are we going to do? I'm going to come straight to your comments in a moment. But just before that, let me read out what Gary Neville says in his video that's kicked off this whole argument, because it's only fair for you to know exactly what he said. And here we are. No, that's the second part of it. Wait a minute. He says, on the way back, he was talking about coming home the night before. I went down the parallel road to where the attack took place, Bury New Road, which has got the Jewish community right at its heart. And they're out on the streets, defiant, not hiding or in fear. Good on them. And that's me, that bit. And this is Gary, and I just kept thinking as I was driving home last night, no doubt to his £3 million mansion, that we're all being turned on each other. And the division that's being created is absolutely disgusting. Well, I agree with him. We don't want to live in a divided society. But here's the line. He says, so the division being created is absolutely disgusting. And then he says, mainly created by angry, middle-aged, white men who know exactly what they're doing. Let's read that again. Mainly created by angry, middle-aged white men who know exactly what they're doing. Well, not really, Gary, because they weren't fat white blokes like me who went into that place and stabbed those Jewish men to death and wanted to kill, obviously, the people inside. But we've got this same kind of denial within our media. The mainstream media led by the BBC. They're still not calling it Islamist terror. Oh, we've got to find out. Even the BBC tonight was saying, oh, 2 of the people have been arrested. We're waiting to see how that develops. The clue is in the bloody name, jihadi. It's clear what he was doing. He targeted that on the most religious holy day for the Jewish community. So then Gary goes on. Funny enough, on one of my development sites last week, there was a Union Jack flag put up. It's called the Union flag, you buffoon. I took it down instantly. Some people might be watching this and thinking, Gary, you're not very patriotic. Then listen to this, the whining, self-centered coward. I played for my country 85 times. I love my country. I love Manchester and I love England. But I've been building in this city for 15 or 20 years, and there's no one who has put a Union Jack flag up before. So why do you need to put them up now? Well, I'll answer that for you. They probably haven't felt they could before because of idiots like you, the woke brigade, who see our flag, and especially the flag of St. George, which you played under, Gary. Yes? Do you remember? They see that flag as racist. So they made people feel as if you couldn't be proud, particularly to be English. British, slightly different. That's what's happened, you thick coward. That's why they haven't. But then, and this was before the terrorism of last week, people then decided, no, we're not going to be treated like this anymore. We're going to fly our flag. We're proud of our flag. What's wrong with that, Gary? What is so offensive about the flag? The flag that you played under, was it 85 times, that it now winds you up so much? And then he says the Union Jack flag being used in a negative fashion is not right. Who's using it in a negative fashion? And I'm a proud supporter of England. Well, the Union Jack flag, as you call it, is not the English flag, you thick coward. It's Great Britain's flag. I'll champion it everywhere around the world as being one of the greatest places to live. Really? And then he says, but I think we need to check ourselves and sort of start to think about bringing ourselves back to a neutral point. It's not a neutral point. You want to bring us back to your woke view of the world, Gary, that you represent. You're the stinking hypocrite who slagged off Qatar and then went there for the World Cup. I loved it when you got beaten up on Have I Got News for You, metaphorically speaking, of course, with words. You couldn't answer because you're a stinking hypocrite. And then he says, all these idiots out there that are spreading hate speech or abuse in any form, we must stop promoting them. You including me in that, Gary? Because Tommy Robinson's march, there were only 26 people arrested. 500 people arrested the other day on that other march. You are nearly as bad as the student unions. Have you heard this? You may not have heard the story, ladies and gents, but Liverpool University, and I think one of the ones in London as well, they're basically having dues tomorrow night on the anniversary. I've got to be careful the word I use here. On the anniversary of the 7th of October. Can you believe this? They're doing that again to the Jewish community. 2 years to the day that those beautiful kids were slaughtered at like a version of Glastonbury in Israel. They think they can take the mickey and have a social. They're as bad as the people on Saturday. I think it's disgraceful. I think it's just disgraceful that a former England international player who's played under our flag, who has represented our great country and got all the benefits that go with it, has now got a top job on Sky although I see this afternoon Sky Sports are not reprimanding him. They're not. It's just same as the Gary Lineker thing. It's wrong. I'm not calling for him to be sacked like some people. I don't think that is necessary, but I am saying he should be given a bollocking. There's no way. He should have just thought through it. If I put this up talking about how it's affecting me, I'm turning this into all me, rather than the innocent people who were killed last week. Gary Neville, you're a coward, and you absolutely disgust me. You're also a pretty shit football pundit, in my opinion. You're an okay player, I'll give you that. You are wrong. You are totally wrong. And if you had any kind of spine, you'd apologise. But, as I say, I don't just want to talk about Gary. I want to talk about the politicians. We've had all the performative nonsense of Starmer. We've had David Lammy getting booed. We've had let's all go. It must never happen again. We're having laws changed. That law that she's going to change about protests, that isn't about this incident. No, that's going to be about stopping people protesting outside migrant hotels. Our government and the establishment class, especially the left-wing side of it, hate us and they despise us. Have I gone too far? Are you with me or against me? Write your comment up. We'll come to them. Oh, excuse me. I've got hiccups again. Straight away. Here's one then to kick us off tonight. Gary is 100% correct, says Mary. That's very brave of you, Mary, on Twitter. Do you want to expand on that, please? Thank you very much indeed. He needs to take a very long walk on a short pier, says Chris Teacap. Thank you very much for that on YouTube. Where are we going now? I'm Visa. Apply me. What a Ravi Kumar. What are you on about? Working visa. Apply me. No, just get lost, you idiots, you moron. David Marks has just put £2 into the hat as a super sticker by clicking the $sign. Thank you, David. Although I haven't even got started yet, let me tell you. If you want to comment, feel free. Even if you think I'm wrong, like Mary obviously thought I was wrong, but I'd like you to put forward an argument. Put forward an argument why you think Gary Neville is correct. And it's angry white men. And also, I'll just expand on that a bit. I am fed up of white working class blokes over the age of 40 in adverts, if you ever see one, and in TV programs. We're always the butt of the jokes. We're the gammon. We're this, we're that, all the rest of it. And we get written off. It's disgusting. We're the only section of society where it's kind of, you can say whatever you want about white working class men. But these men are the men who will defend our country. They've got a spine, unlike our Prime Minister. It's got my backup, John, says Graham Hatton on Facebook. He was undoubtedly a well-decorated Premiership player, but his opinions are about as welcome as a rattlesnake in a lucky dip. I like that. That's a good image. I'll nick that. Thank you. Starmer, he's on his way to India. Is he really? What, to do another trade deal? He loves going. Is he really going to India? If he is, fine. But that's because he loves strutting on the international stage. He's got problems in his own backyard. He should be here sorting them out. And this thing about this new law for demonstrations, it's not necessary. We've got laws to deal with this. I've been saying this for the last 2 or 3 years. Those Palestinian supporters, those Hamas terrorist supporters amongst them, they should have been washed off the streets years ago. Then this problem wouldn't be here. But no, Starmer and indeed Rishi before him and the rest of them were too weak. And you know why? They're scared of them. That's what it is. And they're also scared of losing the Muslim bloc vote. We can't carry on like this, guys. Just like we can't carry on letting everybody come in at Dover. It's unsustainable. Are you with me or against me? 13 likes. Please press the like button. That's a bit low for tonight. Let's move on. Gary Proctor. He's been found out. He's just as bad as Lineker. Champagne lefties. I'll add Geldof to that list, says Gary. Yeah, you might be able to do that, although Geldof did a lot of good with live. I know there's lots of questions about all the money and everything else, but I think what Bob Geldof and Midge Ure did was still a remarkable thing. But you're right. They think that then gives them carte blanche to look down their noses at us and sneer at the white working class. The minute I heard what Gary Neville said, I said he's lost the plot, says Jackie Ward on Facebook. And I knew you, along with thousands of others, would be livid. What on earth have middle-aged white men done? Well, that's the problem, isn't it? We're just the big fat target. I wasn't even going to, today I thought long and hard about this. I wasn't going to do Gary Neville because I thought, well, that's what he wants. He wants to be the new Gary Lineker. I'm not going to add into this. Then I thought about it. Then I thought about adverts. Then I thought about the telly. Then I thought about how white men are constantly ridiculed. Not black men. Black men are always heroes, the way I see it in the adverts. But not white men. We're all thick and ignorant, don't know how to fix the telly. Well, I don't actually. But we don't know. We're useless. You couldn't do that about any other sector of society. Why is it allowed? And he's just fallen straight into that, in my opinion. This is the John Gaunt Show. You're watching it on YouTube. You can watch it on Twitter. You can watch it on Facebook. Just watch it. Make sure you tell all your friends. Don't forget, there's also a podcast version of it, so you can take it on your dog walks and the rest of it. Although, don't take it out on the dog, whatever you do. What is it about the name Gary that makes them such a knob? Says Denise Deacon on Facebook. If he can't see that, it's Islam. That's the problem. He must be deaf, dumb, and blind. You're right, Denise. It's not so much Islam, but it's Islamist fanaticism, isn't it? It is. Call it out for what it is. Get out the tar and feathers, James R.C. Irvin. Thank you very much indeed. We don't do that anymore. You might do it in the States. We don't do it here. When I was in my 20s, I thought you really talk sense, but you are a horror now, says Kim Campbell. Are you talking about me, Kim? What part of what I'm talking about doesn't make sense, Kim? Please tell me. You mean I don't fall into the woke Twitterati view of the world? No, I don't. And I don't think it's right, Kim, that white middle-aged men can be picked on in this way. I just don't. But thank you. Tell me what the problem is. Kerry Freeman, he didn't acknowledge the Prime Minister and the Mayor doing this, dividing us by putting us second, says Kerry Freeman. Yeah, to have division, it has to come from both sides. That's why I accept that. I don't want to live in a divided society. I'm not anti-Muslim. I'm just anti the fanatics who want to kill us. That's what I'm anti. Paul Stentiford on YouTube has just donated £2. Thank you, Paul. And he says, as promised last week, John. Thank you. Thank you for living up to your promise. Annette Locke, they're like three monkeys. They don't see, don't hear, and they don't speak about it. You're absolutely right. You can't deal with a problem if you're not brave enough to say, this is the problem. He is obviously an extremist. Go on, arrest me if you want, because I'll be proved right in a day or two when the BBC have to admit it. Of course he is. What purpose does it serve pretending he isn't? And let me just again re-stress. The attack on that mosque is wrong in Peacehaven or wherever it was. It's wrong. Fundamentally, I hope they capture the people. Right? But it's not the same. It's also not the same crime, is it? As killing two middle-aged Jewish men who were just going about their worship. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not. You might have a persecution complex, you liberals, but you can't sell that one, can you? Let's go on. Hi, John, says Crag. Hi. I'd love to have a lobotomy before I become like the left idiots, says Annette. Thank you. Gary Neville sounds to be making a hate speech himself. Well, he's definitely picking on a group, isn't he? A group of people and stereotyping them. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. But you see, you've got councils now who are saying, oh, the flags have been up long enough now, we're taking them down. I think Tower Hamlets in London, they're definitely going to get rid of them all. What right have they got to do that into our flag, their flag? I mean, I haven't got a flag up, and I wouldn't go and put one up, mainly because I'm scared of heights. But it's like, you see, because the left always want to go on about, oh, the gammon are getting upset about a flag. What is it that? Well, just reverse that argument. What is your problem then? If it doesn't matter, why don't you just let these people put the flags up? And how does our flag intimidate anybody? Because I thought everybody, when they were getting out of those life rafts, those dinghies, wanted to live in Britain. Most of them say they're seeking asylum, so they want to be British citizens, don't they? What? They don't like the flag? You don't like the flag? Yeah, it's simple. Chocks away, Stelios. Kerry Freeman, spot on again. We're treated so badly, and we're not allowed to speak up. Craig Urquhart, Facebook. Am I missing something? Or has any mainstream media called out the 500 snowflake keyboard warriors that got arrested? No, you're right, Craig. Let me tell you about that, Craig, just for a minute as well. I'm keeping an eye on that. There were just over 500 arrests. There's a massive difference between being arrested and charged. Last time they did these people, not many of them got charged. Now, do you remember, of course you do, the riots? Those people were charged, banged up before you could say Southport. Yes? Why isn't it the same here? Unless we've got two-tier justice. So we'll keep an eye on that. Thanks for your point. Craig Marson, John Neville, to me, is another one of them. Like her that told Vine she'll move back to India if Farage becomes Prime Minister. Oh, yeah, you're talking about that. What's her name? She's forgettable. I know who you mean. But there was another person today on the Jeremy Vine show who was basically saying Neville is right. Sharira, whatever her name is. She was on The Apprentice. Eric plays games of trade deals. The one Starmer's announced earlier this year with the USA, the tariffs still seem to be in place. So I guess that's another one of his lies. Well, he's very good at lying, or not very good because he keeps getting found out. I mean, the other big lie, I did mention it yesterday. I don't know if you we had a fantastic turnout from our Sunday show yesterday, announced at the last minute. Fantastic audience figures. However, I did mention in that pensioner woman from Oldham, who Starmer made as the centerpiece of his speech to his conference about how she enlightened him about racism. She's told a totally different story. She said she did give him a rich tea biscuit and gave him a cup of tea, but then he accused her in her own living room of being a racist. Now, if that happened with my dad or my mum, it would have kicked off. Well, it fairly kicked off with this OAP. He booted him out of her house. And I don't blame her. Who the hell does Starmer think he is? Then 10 years later, he bullshits the story and makes out that he was enlightened by a white working class woman who once went to an Indian wedding. And we're meant to believe this. All the SEALs in the audience at the Labour conference, they all believed it, but we're meant to as well. No thanks, Starmer, you lying bastard. Jim Garfield, surely the major part of any division is caused by the marches happening less than a mile from the synagogue before the bodies of the poor victims had gone cold. Why didn't Gary mention that? He's a coward, says Jim Garfield on YouTube. That is a brilliant point. He is. Because regardless of where you are in terms of what you think about Gaza and all the rest of it, whether you're left or right, with the government, against the government, partly with them, well, who's the government? What's the government? The government's recognised Palestine. There's no such place. But anyway, you've got to say, having a demonstration on Saturday, just after they died, is horrendous. And now, these student unions, it's Liverpool, and I think it might be the London School of Economics or another one. Somebody will tell me in a minute. They're doing almost social nights celebrating. Where do these people come from? Where do they come from? And why can't we ship them out? Neville, globalist puppet. They've got him by the gonads now, along with Beckham and Ferdinand. says Donny. Yeah, but Donny, don't bring two other footballers into it. They've not done anything wrong, have they? Let's keep on him. But let's also keep on Starmer and the politicians. The politics blokes says Starmer's getting off. Oh, no, sorry. He's getting off at lecturing us and sneering at the poor people. We'll all had enough of their virtue signalling rubbish, says the politics blog. If you've not checked them out on Facebook, do. It's a very, very good blog. I enjoy it a lot. And they make some great Facebook posts as well, some of which I've nicked. So they're good. Good. Well done to you. The work's good. Lee Gonzo Gosling, totally behind what you say, Gaunty. Neville is an utter disgrace. John, I don't know about you, but I think military veterans have done a lot more than him for the UK. Well, of course they have. Of course they have. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was part of a great Manchester United team. He was part of an England team that never actually did the business, if we're being honest. Neville is the new Lineker, and that's not a compliment, says Warwick Milne. Brian Potter says, Neville scores an own goal. Proud. I'm a proud, middle-aged white man. I like that, Brian. And so am I. Why can't we be proud to be white? Specials wrote a song, just because I'm a black boy, just because you're white, doesn't mean we have to hate each other or whatever. It doesn't make it all right. I think that's how it went. Although I was a bit more in tune than... No, they can't take the mickey out of Terry Hall. But anyway, it's true. Why can't we just live together? I agree with Gary Neville. But the division isn't all on one side. And also, please, don't just think of Britain, Gary, as being all white, because that's a bit racist, isn't it? We're a mixture now, which is fine by me. Are you projecting, Gary? Have you got a problem? Because I haven't. And then, Gary, this whole idea that we are just thick, we're the unwashed, it's worthy of being a politician. You really should be apologising. By the same token, our supreme leader, who, by the way, went to Manchester, when he sent off Lammy got booed and sneered and called a wanker and all the rest of it. When Starmer went with his wife, holding her hand tightly, he had the streets cleared. He was scared of another Southport. Another Southport. Alistair Murray, this is an official warning. I don't know what you've put up here. You've put a link. I don't like links in the comments. Why have you done that? Don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, let's just go back to where we were. So we've got a situation where rather than calming things down, he's raised the ante. And what we need is our supreme leader to stop being frightened of the people and address the people. He hasn't done that. He didn't do it in Southport. Maybe he went there with that intention, but the moment they called him a wanker, he ran away. He literally ran away. Excuse me, got the hiccups again. It's a joke. At this point in our history, because let's be honest, it's going to happen again, isn't it? There's going to be another attack. It's absolutely clear. What he needs to be doing is uniting the nation. He actually said to the Jewish community of the whole country, not just of Manchester, we're going to put our arms around you and protect you. Has he done that? He's put more police by Jewish schools and he's put them by synagogues. But it's got to be, hasn't it, to call out this guy. He's dead. You can't defame the dead. He's dead. He's clearly a terrorist. If there's any way that Starmer is hoping to say, oh, he was a lone wolf, nobody else knew, it's bullshit. And why get yourself in that position, Starmer? Learn a bit of PR. Alistair Murray, well, I'm going to apologise to you, Alistair, because I can apologise. Says, Gaunt, it's a video of Gary Neville not singing God Save the Queen before England games. Apologies. No, Alistair, that's fine. Well, next time, just put that above the link, because otherwise I'm thinking, oh, he's putting a link up there just to push whatever he's pushing. And I don't like that. I'm not having a go at you now. I apologise. Thank you for your contribution. It's a good contribution. And I saw that video this afternoon. Seaside of Mark, if you get a chance, John, listen to Simon Jordan's take on Gary Neville. It was absolutely spot on. Yeah, I did hear it earlier. He called him a coward. And Simon Jordan is absolutely correct. He is a coward because he's picked the easy target, hasn't he? And a generalised target. Surely any conversation about who's responsible. I mean, I know I've been saying things like the blood is on Starmer's hands. Starmer's responsible for this. Yes, he is. But even I said, first of all, the responsibility is on the person who did the stabbing, because of course it is. Other people have contributed to it with their ridiculous laissez-faire attitude to terrorism and extremism. How have we got to a position where people can shout things like that on the streets of London? Not just London, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, Glasgow, Edinburgh. How have we allowed that? We are the greatest country in the world. That's why everybody wants our passport. That's why everybody getting out of a dinghy or overstaying, why are they doing it? Because they don't want to go back to the godforsaken place they came from. That's why. Because Britain is still the land of opportunity. And if you work hard, you can be a success. That's what it's about. But we're not a country built on immigration like America. And we can and we will survive without this flood of immigrants, both legal and we can certainly get by without the illegals. We can't afford it. And I'm not anti-immigration. I think immigration, well-controlled, managed immigration, has been great for the country. And I think the way some of those people were treated, or a lot of those people were treated, whether it was the people coming from the West Indies or the people coming from the Asian subcontinent when they first came, I think there was some pretty disgusting, filthy racism. But I don't think that's today's Britain. There are still racists there, of course, and we should all root them out. But this is a pretty amazing country. But we've been told for too long by idiots like Gary and people like Starmer, that whole kind of class, that somehow we're not a great country. Look about what they're teaching in schools. Our kids get taught the negatives, which I think they should do, but they should get taught the positives about our great country, our great history. Don't you? By the way, if you do want to donate, we've had a few tonight, but if you'd like to donate, very simple. Just click the little $ there on the screen, just underneath the screen, and donate whatever you want. Every penny, every pound helps. Thank you very much indeed. Also, as well, you can go to www.buymeacoffee.com and you can buy me a coffee or a beer. It starts at £5. Lots of people been doing that. Thank you very much indeed. www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Now, we're going to stop in a minute. So if you want to get a comment in, you better do it now. Lee Gonzo Goslin, even if he did apologise, I'm sorry, but the damage is being done. No. If Gary Neville apologised and said, look, I spoke out of turn there, I didn't expect that to happen, then he'd go up in my estimation. So would Lineker, but they won't because they're too bloody arrogant. Gary Neville, you're an idiot, Zane. It's just stupid. Why give him the oxygen as a bait? Just call him a winker and end it there. Well, you're right. And that's why, Paul, I nearly didn't do this show tonight. And then I thought, no, that's how they silence you. So it's a bit like, don't talk about the, it's like when you do the Christmas debate. I got my first email today about a Christmas offering, right? Or text it was. I can't remember what it was. But if you say, oh, look, it's all happening too early, and I've done that debate for the last 30 odd years. People say, oh, you're just giving it publicity. Well, the dilemma is it's in the news. It's what people are talking about. It's always a double-edged sword. Anyway, right, I'm finishing. Thank you for all your contributions tonight. Been a cracker. Gary Neville must apologise. Are you with me or against me? Have you got anything else you want to say before I go? Because I'm off to watch EastEnders with the mother-in-law. Got to cook the tea as well tonight. So I've got a lot on, so don't mess me about. And thank you for following me and being a fan. And thank you for all the donations. And don't forget, the most important thing to do, if you haven't done it already, is to subscribe to John Gaunt TV on YouTube. It says subscribe, but it's free. Then you get told whenever I'm doing extra shows, like yesterday I did an extra show on Sunday, and it was fantastic. If you can always go back and watch it again. Likewise, all of my archive, once you subscribe to John Gaunt TV, you're in, basically. You can get the lot. Yeah? You can get the lot. And it's all free. But if you want to donate a few quid, which of course is vital, because I don't get any other subsidy. I got a bit of money from the advertising, but it's a trickle. If you can afford a fiver, www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, or just click the $ there. Even if he apologized, Kerry Freeman says he's blown it. Jackie Ward, as per usual, sent me my 3 red hearts. Thank you, Jackie. And Andy Borg, he's just sent me them as well. No disrespect, Andy. I prefer getting them off Jackie, but you know what I mean. Anyway, enough. I don't want to get into that trouble. Back tomorrow, 6:30. Have a good night. Remember, if you've got kids, give them a kiss. Give them a hug. Hey, hey, hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. And no matter what they say about us, we're the working class. We're great. We are the backbone of Britain, and never let these uber-liberal twits say anything different to that. Nice talking to you. See you later.